sports very much. The only sports I ever enjoyed were like tennis and swimming and soccer. When I was a kid and a teenager, those are the things I did. I love those kind of things. I love swimming. I love the water. It was something I was good at. I was really good at tennis, and I was really good at soccer. I sucked at baseball. I sucked at basketball. I didn't enjoy them either. And I hated football. None of those were interesting to me, and it just didn't make any sense either. So, I mean, they're rough. I mean, football is very rough, and I'm not a very aggressive person physically. Maybe I can be personality wise occasionally, but physically I'm not a very aggressive personality. I just am not. All the people are like, all like crazy anger and shit. I don't really possess that ability, and so it's like, with football I just no. And baseball, I could never fucking hit the goddamn ball. I remember I was such an embarrassment to myself as a child and as a teenager. No one ever taught me how to play baseball. I could play catch or whatever, but I never was able to hit the ball or anything, and I just wasn't good at it. I didn't have a dad growing up. I didn't have anybody to show me. I never asked anybody. No one ever volunteered, so I didn't know how to play baseball. But I was on a baseball team as a kid, and I had to play it in middle school for PE and stuff like that, and I sucked. I could never hit the fucking ball. So that always sucked. And then the other one, basketball, I was tall. I'm only 6 foot. I'm exactly 6 feet tall, by the way. So it's not like I'm 6'9" or something like most basketball players, but I was tall, on the tall side for my age when I was a kid. And playing basketball and that kind of stuff, it just wasn't fun to me. I'm just not that competitive. I mean, it's maybe hard for you to believe. I'm not if I tell this to my husband, he's going to say, bullshit, you are competitive. I'm really not a competitive person. When we play games like Monopoly or, I don't know, Jenga or whatever the fuck we're playing, games and stuff with my family or my friends or whatever, it's like, people say I'm competitive that way. And I like to win. It's true. I do like to win in those games. But when it comes to sports and stuff, I just don't really give a shit. I just play it to have fun and enjoy it. And so you can play tennis with someone else, and it's fun, and it's also very good exercise, and it's very challenging and to me, and it's just fun. I love tennis. It makes sense to me. And swimming is something you can do solo and on your own, without other people around. That's what solo means. And so I really enjoy swimming as well, and it's also very relaxing. I like being in the water. And then soccer, when I was a kid, soccer was a team sport, of course, but it was for some reason I felt comfortable with soccer, whereas I did not feel comfortable at all with basketball or with football or baseball. So I don't know why that is, but I just felt comfortable with it. And so as a child, I was really pretty good at soccer, and I was on a soccer league and everything as a kid, like 8, 9 years old. And I enjoyed it. But anyway, back to the point. The point is that I would not be that great at the challenges on Big Brother because I first of all, I don't like to sweat. This makes me sound like such a princess. I know. And I am a little bit of that way, but it's not like, I'm really not, but I am when it comes to sweating. I don't like to sweat. I mean, sweating just messes up your hair and makes your face all wet and your body. And you start to smell. I mean, not smell like gross, but you know what I mean, like sweat. And I just don't like to sweat. I hate it. I hate being like hot, and I hate sweating. So most of the time when you're working out, or you're doing some sort of kind of sports activity, you're going to be sweating and be hot to some degree. So that's why I don't typically like to play sports. But anyway, so there's the social side of it, and then there's the mental side of it, and there's the physical side of that show. So I don't think I would do too well ultimately. So if I were on that show, I probably would have to be a floater, or I would have to be really lucky because I would not win. And then my husband's really obsessed with Survivor, and we watch Survivor every year too. And I like Survivor, but there's no fucking way I would ever in a million goddamn years want to be on a fucking island or wherever the fuck they are, and no, I have no interest in that. Why? I mean, people want to do it, I guess, to see what they're made of and to test themselves. That's fine. I get that. But I have no need for that, no desire for that. It's not something that I have any, need to know in my life. So there's different kinds of people in the world, and that's just one of the kind of people I've never really understood personally. I mean, I understand them, but I never want to be them. I have no desire to be that kind of a person who wants to run like a 5K or 10K or a marathon or a decathlon or whatever, just because they want to prove to themselves they can. No, what the fuck? Why? You don't have to do it, then don't. I mean, it sounds like such a misery to me. I have no interest in doing that. So people are different, but for me, no, thank you. Anyway, so what else did I talk about? I got, the iPhone 6 came out, iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And I got the iPhone 6 Plus, I think it was last week, whenever it came out on the 2 days after it came out is when it got delivered to me. Anyway, so I got it, and it's pretty good. I like it. It took a little bit of getting used to because I had the iPhone 5S before. And it's much bigger, and it's more like a Nexus or whatever it's called, Galaxy or Samsung or whatever, the size-wise, I mean. So it takes some getting used to, but, you've heard about the whole Bendigate thing, and people were saying they bend or whatever. I have not had that experience at all. I've had it in my pocket, and I've had it in, how I usually carry my iPhone and stuff, and I haven't had any problems with it. The only thing I'll say about it is that I have had to get used to holding it, because and the only thing I don't like about it is something's different about the earphone, the earpiece, where it's located. And so I have to hold the phone exactly like the little earpiece exactly in my ear hole in order to be able to hear anything. I mean, I can hear it without doing that, but it's muffled unless I hold it in exactly the right position. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just strange. It's hard to explain it. But other than that, it's fantastic. It's much bigger. Like I said, I got the 6 Plus. I got a 128 gig model because I always kept running out of fucking space on my fucking iPhone all the goddamn time. Like, I would try to install an update, or it would say, you don't have enough space. You have to delete some things or whatever. And deleting things off of your iPhone is not easy. Anyway, it's very difficult. When I say that, I don't mean just apps. I mean like your photos and that stuff. It's not easy to do. You have to go like log into your iTunes and you have to delete it that way. It's just really a lot of big old hassle. But anyway, so I was always having to delete shit, and I was always having to. I was running out of space, and I carry a lot of stuff on here for my business. Presentations, documents and CAD files or whatever, 3D stuff. That's in the cloud. It's on my laptop, on my desktop, and on my phone, and so it syncs to all three. And so I kept running out of space on my other phone. So that's why I got the 128 gig version. I got the silver one, the white face, and I love it. And the camera's really, really good. It's even better than before. So anyway, if you're thinking about getting one, I would say get one for sure. So good luck with that. The other thing is, Dallas. Okay, so I live in Dallas, as you well know. I was born and raised here, and my family and I, when I grew up, we watched Dallas, J.R. Ewing and Sue Ellen and Bobby and Pam and all those people. And so it's sort of a staple in my family and part of our family culture. And, when the new one came out 3 years ago, my husband and I have been watching it every year. We loved it, and we think it's a really good show. And it's very nostalgic for us both. It takes us back to when we were young or whatever, childhood. Anyway, so we liked the show a lot. And anyway, today we found out it was canceled. So it won't be back for a 4th season. We were so bummed. I don't know if you watched Dallas or not. And, it's very soap opera-y, of course. It's, nighttime soap. But it was written by the same people as the old Dallas was written by. Which was a good thing. It had definitely had the same feeling as Dallas did. But I think that I guess it didn't have enough viewership or whatever, and so they decided to axe it this year, which is such a horrible tragedy because it really, really was a good show. I really, really liked it a lot. But oh well, it's gone now, so we're gonna miss that. But oh well, who knows? What does that say here? I wrote something down here. Old friend. Yeah, I forgot to. Yeah, so my friend. So, you think about your old friends. Like, my friends from SMU. When I was at SMU, there was a group of us. We were all friends. I had kind of 2 friend groups, actually. And the two didn't really mix. So I had a group of like maybe 5 or 6 friends that I hung out with, and then I had another group of friends of like 5 or 6 I hung out with, and then I had another group of friends I hung out with occasionally. So I kind of had 3 groups actually of friends when I was at SMU, all different kinds of people. I've always been that way. I've always been able to kind of be friends with all kinds of people and not just one side, like not just the popular people or the cheerleaders or the jocks, but those people as well as like the geeks, as well as the goth people, as well as the nerd, you know, whatever. I've been able to be friends with everybody. And so I just like people for who they are. I don't care what kind of quote unquote group they're part of. So anyway, that was like that at SMU. Anyway, so I had a group of friends and I had this one friend, she and I we hung out all the time and we were pretty close. And, you know, I was gay, of course, then I was openly gay, and, she was in the sorority and we hung out all the time. And, anyway, so then something happened. I cannot remember. The second year we knew each other. It was my first year. It was towards the end of the freshman year, which is the year we knew each other. And we were we did everything together. She took me to her sorority dance. I mean, we just went to the clubs, the Village Station at the time it was called here in Dallas, all the time together. And so for some reason we stopped talking. I can't remember why. I can't remember what pissed me off or what pissed her off or what happened, but something just happened and we stopped talking. And, you know, that's happened to me throughout my life a lot. I don't know why that is, and I've been trying to figure out the past couple of years what is the cause of that. You know, sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes I really have no fucking idea what happens with friendships. And sometimes they just dissolve, and I think sometimes it's really not you. I think sometimes it really is just a function of a friendship coming to its end, its functional use. You know, but anyway, I ran across her. I was looking through some old papers in a box, and I ran across her, and so I contacted her on Facebook and saw her. She looks great, and she lives here in Dallas still with a husband. She got married and had a baby. So I'm very my point was that, you know, when you find an old friend, you never know what's going to happen, if they're going to be receptive or not to you, whether you ended friendly or not. And I think it's always interesting to see what happens ultimately with a friendship, and I mean rekindling an old friendship, because, you know, we still have the same dynamic as you did when you were younger or whatever. We still have the same likes, dislikes. You know, people grow, people change, and as a result of that, sometimes the same kind of connection's not there anymore. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully she and I will have a drink and just hit it off again. We'll see what happens. But she may not even respond to me. Who the fuck knows? There was something I want to talk about real quick that was on the news. Okay, the housing discrimination ban, which is, you know, part of, you know, our, like when you buy a house or whatever, or a condo or something, that you cannot be discriminated against based on your race. Or other things, women, any kind of minority group, okay, religious minorities, whatever. And dumb fuck, I can't remember his name, Justice Roberts, I think is his name or something. He is trying to get rid of this and trying to say we don't need it anymore, and that you can't discriminate against people based on through housing and whatever, which is bullshit. Because before, when we talk, I mean, you know, I have a real estate broker's license as well, and, you know, I got it in 2004, and I've kept it active ever since, and I don't really use it very much. But anyway, so part of studying for that, I had to actually, you know, you had to learn the history of real estate and everything as well. Anyway, so, you know, in the 50s and 60s, you know, when blacks were trying to get buy housing in nicer neighborhoods, they weren't allowed to, because the real estate agents were, quote unquote, steering them away from the white neighborhoods and only selling them in black neighborhoods. And this is before there was a law. Even before there was a law, it was legal for them to do that. They wouldn't sell to them at all. It was restricted. And after the law was put into place where they couldn't discriminate, people still tried to do that. But when they did, they were able to be taken to court and be sued and whatever. And that's why we have integrated neighborhoods these days, is because we have that law. Otherwise, we would still be segregated, neighborhoods where only black people can live in black neighborhoods and white people can live in white neighborhoods.